Good evening, everyone. My name is Emily, and this is the Astral Library. And yes, I have a list because these teeth are impossible to talk in. But now that I can talk to you without that horrible list, let's go ahead and talk about what are my plans for October, and more to the point, what is my TBR for this month? Because I am doing a special TBR video, which will culminate in a month-long reading vlog at the end of this month on Halloween. We get 2 off-schedule videos this month, so I hope you enjoy. And of course, because it is Halloween and spooky month, and I was all about as a vampire, we are going to be doing a vampire-only TBR. I have selected 6 books here that all are vampire or vampire-esque, and the majority are focused on black vampires. Because what was the best movie that came out this year? That's right, Sinners, baby! And we are getting Interview the Vampire Season 3 next year. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. So what better way to celebrate black vampires coming back than to have a TBR video focused on them? Okay, let's go ahead and start with the 2 non-black vampire books I have that if actually I run out of time this month, these are the first books that I am actually going to cut. So first up, I have Vampire Hunter D by Hideyuki Kikuchi. So this is the omnibus edition. I am not reading this entire chunky book. That would be insane. I'm only going to be reading the first novel of this longest running published Japanese light novel series that's been translated in English. It's insane. I think there's something like 9 omnibus volumes, and I think each collects 3. So she's been going on for a long time, and to read the entire thing would be insane. So I'm only going to read the first novel in this, which is roughly around like 238 pages. So I've been hearing a lot about this from Instagram and TikTok. It's kind of gotten a revival because it was a really popular anime and movie back in the 80s and 90s. And I've seen like this recommended at Barnes & Noble a couple times saying like, if you like Twilight, read this, but better Twilight. And I'm like, I like that. That sounds good. I don't know how true that is, but it's got me interested. From what I understand, this novel is set in a post-apocalyptic like nuclear war. We're following our main character who's only known as D. And he is obviously an immortal and he's a vampire and he's going out and hunting other vampires and creatures and he's meeting various people along the way. That's all I know. That's all I really want to know going to this. I kind of just want to experience what this classic story is for itself and see why people are obsessed with it that is getting published to this day. The other non-black vampire book I have is Evil in Me by Brom. This one might not technically be vampires, but it's spooky vibes and it's demonic vibes, and it kind of gives me Queen of the Damned. Because we are dealing with a punk band and demonic creatures who hunger for the flesh, close enough to be vampires. This will be my first Brom book. Everyone knows them for writing Slewfoot, which looks immaculate. I hear amazing things about it, but this is the one that just like spoke to me. Like, not only is the cover beautiful, but it's rock and roll vibes, and I love a good rock band. And again, just enough vampire to give me Queen of the Damned. Let's go and read the synopsis for this one so we are all caught up on what this book is. Aspiring musician Ruby Tucker has had enough of her small rural town and dysfunctional family. But a falling out with her best friend and bandmate has killed her dreams of escaping and making it big in the 80s Atlanta punk scene. When Ruby helps her eccentric neighbor organize his religious relics, an ancient reed clamps down on her finger, possessing her with the spirit of a bloodthirsty demon. There's no exorcising it unless hundreds of people chant a spell to set Ruby free. And what's worse, the ring is a beacon of evil, drawing a monstrous mob straight to Ruby, hungry for her flesh. If Ruby can get her band back together, she has a shot at salvation. But it's time for her to face the music and to put her whole soul into a song, one powerful enough to raise some hell. Also, definitely vampire coded, right? Like you read that description, you're like, yeah, that's kind of vampire coded. Right? That's why she's here. That is why she is here. So these are my 2 non-black vampire books. Everything else on this TBR is not only focusing on black characters, but written by black authors. So first up, we have Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis. This just came out in August and I pre-ordered it and it's just so stunning. And it's vampires, and look at this pomegranate up front. Oh, I love it. I cannot wait to read this and see what it's about. I also believe that we do get a bit of werewolves in this because our main character, Mirabella, has grown up with the myths and legends about wolves that protect from vampires. And she is kind of going to be embroiled in a conflict between the two. All right, let's go ahead and read the synopsis for Blood Moon to see what it's about. Mirabella Owens grew up with legends of wolves that traveled to her Midwestern town to protect humans from vampires. Of a werewolf that fell in love with one of the undead, unraveling a blood-soaked history. But Mira stopped believing in those fairy tales years ago. She stopped believing in a lot of things after her mom left without a trace when she was only 13. As Mira begins her freshman year at Lakeland University, she's ready to leave the past behind her. Only the past isn't finished with her yet. Strange animals attacks are occurring around campus, reopening cold cases tied to her mother's disappearance, and the only person who seems to know anything is Julian Santos, the boy who is hell-bent on getting Mira to leave campus for reasons she cannot begin to understand. But Mira refuses to let him keep his secrets, not when the truth is the difference between life and death. Mira will have to accept that there is much more to the old town myths and her growing feelings with Julian than she could ever have anticipated. As the blood moon rises, she will come to know the world which has shattered her past and change her future. Vampires, werewolves, embroilment between the two, secrets, mysteries, all sounds so freaking good. All right, and the next book I have on this TBR is This Ravenous Fate, another black vampire, one that came out not too long ago. I think this came out I believe this came out like early 2025. No, 2024. But I did pick this up at Y'all West. Again, I don't know much about this other than it's black and it's vampires, which is all I need. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis for this one. I forgot this one takes place in Harlem and jazz. Ah! It's 1926 and reapers are growing stronger everywhere. Created centuries ago by cruel medical experiments, these once human vampires are driven to attack without mercy. Those who protect the city from them hold more power than even organized criminals who run the nightclubs. As the reluctant heir to her father's reaping hunting empire, Elise Saint knows that the Harlem Reapers want her dead. Among them is Leah Quinn, who lost her parents, the protection of the Saints, and her humanity the night she was turned into a Reaper. And she'll never forget how Elise Saint betrayed her. A wave of mysterious killings shocked the city, forcing Elise and Layla to work together to find out if some Reapers are turning humans again, or even becoming deadlier. As their investigation takes them from glittering parties to gangster underworlds, the two must confront their complicated feelings for each other. For a new kind of evil on the rise, one that will destroy Reapers and humans alike if they don't stop it. This one is set in 1920s Harlem and it's sapphic. Now, if you've been following at any point of this channel and heard me talk about my research, my area of focus is the Harlem Renaissance starting from the 1920s. So I'm so excited to read a book set in that time and to be following black queer vampires. Say less. Say less. I'm so here for this. Next is a book that's on this TBR that I've been threatened that if I don't read it this month and I don't read it for this TBR, I'm going to be in trouble. She's going to be the first book I start with. So Princess, you can't be mad at me. I'm going to start with this one. And that is, of course, Immortal Dark by Tigest Girma. Now, I bought this book when it came out and I have not read it yet, which is why I'm in aforementioned trouble with Princess because she's like, you have to read this, Emily, you have to read it. And so this is the video where I'm going to read it. And we're like I said, we're going to start with this one. We're going to start with her and we're going to see where she takes us and if it's going to be amazing. So let's go ahead and read the synopsis for her. It began long before my time, but something has always hunted our family. Orphaned heiress Kindina Dane grew up far from the arcane society she was born into, where human bloodlines gained power through vampire companionship. When her sister June disappears, Kindin is convinced a vampire stole her, the very vampire bound to their family, the cruel yet captivating Susanoo Sagad. To find June, Kindin must infiltrate the elite Uxley University, where she must survive living with the Susaneros, even as he does everything he can to drive her away. It doesn't matter that Susanoo's wickedness speaks to Kindin's own violent nature and tempts her to surrender to a life of darkness. She must find her sister and kill Susaneos at all costs. When a murder mirroring June's disappearance shakes Uxley, Kindin sinks further into ruthless underworld of vampires, risking her very soul. There she discovers a centuries-old threat, and June could be at the center of it. To save her sister, Kindin must bring Uxley to its knees and either break free from the horrors of her own actions or embrace the dark entanglements of love and the blood it requires. This is amazing. Not only do we have what seems like a badass female lead who is just like ready to do like what needs to be done, like a morally gray female lead. I love it. I love a main character that dives into the dark side and sees things maybe they don't like, but also will do what needs to be done. How exciting. I'm glad I'm going to start with this one because I think this is going to give me all the immaculate vibes I need for this vlog, including like a little bit of dark academia, which is just perfect in October. All right, we got one more for the TBR, and that is another new release. This one did come out this year, and that is Blood Slaves by Markus Redmond. I got this when I was in Portland, Oregon at Powell City of Books. On the little placard was saying, if you liked Sinners, you need to read this book. And as I said, Sinners was the best movie that came out this year, and I adore it. So a book that gives Sinners vibes, I'm so here for it. And it looks great. Look at this cover. Stunning. Stunning, okay? Let's go ahead and read what this one is about. In the Providence of Carolina, 1710, freedom seems unattainable for Willie and his beloved Gertie, and for their unborn child. They live, suffer, and toil under their brutal master, James Big Jim Barrow, whose grand plantation was built by the blood, sweat, and tears of the enslaved. To flee this hell on earth, it must be hunted and killed until one strange night, Willie is offered a dark hope by Rafazi, an enigmatic slave with an irresistible and blood-chilling path to liberation. Hailing from the kingdom of Ghana, Rafazi is the lone survivor of the Romaganda, an African vampire tribe rendered nearly extinct by plague. Rafazi has roamed the world for centuries with an underlying desire to replenish the power that once defined his heritage. In Willie, Rafazi has found his first biddable subject to be turned and to help in a hungry revolt, and Willie desires nothing more than to free his people from malicious bondage, whatever it takes. One by one, as an army of blood slaves thirsting for revenge is gathered, the headstrong Gertie fears that no good can come from this vampiric legacy that courses through Rafazi's veins. Willie knows that only evil can fight evil, and when the woman he loves stands between the re-emergence of Romaganda and the justified slaughter of the oppressors, Willie must make an irreversible decision. Only one thing is certain. On the Barrow plantation and beyond, blood will spill. Okay, Markus Redmond. I see why people mark this as Sinners, because just the vampire plotline alone gives me all the Sinners vibes, and the fact that we're going to be killing some plantation masters. Say less. Say less. I'm in it. This is gonna be so good. Everything on this TBR is so good. I'm so excited to read it. Ah! All right, but this is the All right, everyone, this is the TBR for this month. As you can see, quite a bit of vampire stories, a lot of intrigue and things I'm just genuinely really excited to read. I hope you join me this month and are looking forward to the vlog on Halloween, where you get to see my full thoughts reading these in a non-spoiler vlog as always. But that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a thumbs up and a comment down below. Let me know, what are your plans to read this month? What are you gonna be for Halloween? Are you gonna dress up? If so, as what? Every year I dress up as a witch, but maybe I just might have to do some vampire action to bring this look back. But that's gonna be it for me. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!